I'm logged into the Google account that I use to manage my own Seth Kimball Design My Business page because I noticed recently that my uh, Google Maps local listing or my business page is no longer visible on Google Maps. I don't remember when I noticed that. I use this page as an example a lot of times in our Google Maps course because I have control over it, but I don't actually use it for a ton of marketing or anything like that. I don't really get a lot of leads from it. And so I wasn't really too worried about it, and I've kind of left it alone, but I decided let's try to find out and go ahead and troubleshoot what the issue is here. So when I log into my account and you saw me go to my business, it takes me right to this page because I only have one page, and your page is disabled and won't appear on Google. If I click Y, it opens up a new tab for me where it says a couple things. So it says your page has been disabled by our moderation team. First, view the quality guidelines to make sure your business information meets them. And I've got a form here I'm going to fill out, but I did want to show you in the quality guidelines. I have a pretty good idea of why this is. I have had my uh, um, local listing at 200 West 2nd Street, number 72 in Royal Oak, Michigan, since I started this local listing. And that's actually a PO box, and I'm willing to bet that that's the issue. If I go over to the guidelines here, um, eligible businesses, business information, address. If I click on learn more, one of the things it says is that PO boxes are not considered accurate physical locations. And just to give you a little history on this, what first happened is that I got a call from a Google employee asking me, do I see customers at this location? And I was not expecting that call, but when I got it, I just was honest. I said, no, I don't see customers there. And he said, okay. I said, do I need to change anything about my local listing? No, you don't. And shortly after that, I noticed that my local listing had been changed to a service area business. So that was the first thing that happened, and I was fine with that. I felt like it was about time that they sort of caught up with that and made that change for me. Um, but now I see that it's actually gone, and I wonder if they've just discovered that this is actually a PO box for some reason. So that's my guess as to why this is. But I'm going to go ahead and ask them to call me, and we'll find out. So Seth Kimball, email address. Seth Kimball Design. It's interesting here, it asks for the public URL of your business's page, which is a strange thing because if your uh, Google Maps listing is disabled, you will not be able to find the public URL. But it's not required, so I'm leaving that alone. I'm going to say I normally manage it through Google My Business on my computer. I'm going to say I'm the owner, and I'd like a call. And then I'm just going to go ahead and enter a phone number here, which I'll just put the business phone number. And I can hit submit. Thank you for your report. We will review your submission and get back to you after we have investigated. So we'll find out what happens. I could have just changed the address, but I decided I would just give it a try and see. If we run through this process, my listing, aside from that address issue, is completely white hat. And so I thought, why not have them give me a call, and we'll find out what happens. Yes, thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome. Seth, could you please help me with the email the listing is associated with?
Yeah, it's Seth at SethKimball.com.
Thank you so much, Seth. And is this the best number to reach you, Seth, if
Yes.
required?
Yeah, this is great.
Thank you so much. Seth, your listing has been blocked temporarily because there have been multiple edits on the account very frequently in the category, address, and description, which are major uh, changes. So just to ensure that the edits are genuine and from the legit customer, our team blocks it temporarily. So you would have to send in the photos of your business to verify your business so that we can go ahead and activate the listing to go live on Google. Okay?
So tell me that again. So you're saying there have been multiple frequent edits?
Yeah.
Because I
In
hardly,
regards to the address, category, and the business type, huh? Go on. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I rarely touch the listing, so I don't know. And when I look in there, I don't see any edits that I don't expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure.
There, yeah, photos have been added. Category has been changed.
Oh yeah, I did
Address
do
has been.
that, but it was I don't know, maybe a year ago.
Yeah. So it got blocked an year ago. We haven't received the request yet. So I see that you have requested about the page just about 4 hours ago. So I got the request and was following up on that. So
Great.
send in the photos of your business, which shows the signage as well, so that I can go ahead and escalate that to our specialist team, so that, and in turn they would remove the block on the account. Okay.
No, I can't do that because it's a service area business. It should be marked as a service area business.
Okay, then go ahead and mark the business as a service area business and send in the copy of registration. If not, then you would have to send in the license of the business. Uh, yeah, if you do not have that as well, then the utility bill would do. So either of the any of them. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Any of them, either the copy of registration, the license, or the utility bill, and I should be able to escalate that. I would be sending you a quick short email to set@setkimball.com
Okay.
and respond to it with the information I've requested. Okay,
And when
once I get that, I would.
when you say registration or license, you mean like a business registration, like the registration of my
Mhm.
LLC or something like that?
Yes, you would register the business with government, right? So you would, yeah, exactly, the registration of like a LLC.
Great. And what if the address that I have on there is the one that I use publicly, but it's not the official address of my LLC?
Okay, you
Because
would
I
have to
work,
use the home address.
yeah, because I work out of my home, and that's my PO
Mhm.
box is the address that's on there. It's just been that way for years.
Shouldn't be a problem. Just let the address be there because it's a service area business. So anyway, your address would not show up on Google. It's only the area that you operate or serve within the radius. So only that would show up.
Okay, so, but I mean, does the address that's in the my business listing need to match the LLC license that I send you? I mean, should I change that?
Yes, the number on the license or the copy of registration should match the one on the listing.
And so, should I change that in my listing when I send this to you, or should I just send it to you and you'll take care of that, or how should I do that?
No, no, change the address on the listing if it's incorrect, and then respond to the email I'll be sending you with the registration copy. Okay?
Okay, I can do that.
You're welcome. Any more questions for me, Seth?
Um, no, I don't think so.
You're welcome, and please do share your feedback. There's a quick short server coming in. Okay? Bye for now.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Bye.
So after getting that phone call, this is the email that I received, just like he said, asking for a picture of my business storefront or a utility bill or copy of registration. So I have that because my business is an LLC. I have official documents from that, from the IRS and stuff related to that. But the address on there is not correct. And as I mentioned before, I think that this might be, I thought this was why it had gotten disabled. On the phone, he was saying it was because of a bunch of edits that were made. I really don't know. I had gotten a call, and I thought they had switched it to a service area business, but when I look now, it's not set to that. So I'm really not sure why, but I'm just going to follow the instructions that he gave, which is to change the address to the official business address, which is my home address. So I don't want that showing online. So I'll change it to a service area business, and we'll see what happens. So I'm here in the account. I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to go down to the address here. I'm just going to click edit. I'm going to go ahead and change that to the official business address, and I'm going to click this. I deliver goods and services to my customers at their location. Basically sets me as a service area business. Okay, I went ahead and added the correct street address, which is in Ferndale, which is where I actually live. I checked this and it gave me this little drop down. So I'm going to say within 10 miles of my business, just because that's easier for me. Now, as you're doing this, if you're doing this for your own um, listing, you want to consider, I wouldn't make this radius too large because you can't just set the radius at really huge and expect you're going to rank for all those things. Google probably will just not really take that into account that much the further out you get from your business. So I don't think there's any rule of thumb here for like how many miles from your business. I would say try to fill it in accurately. Now in my case, I actually serve, uh, I mean, I've worked with companies in California, so I can't really specifically put the actual radius, but for local, I say 10 miles is actually pretty good. I've worked with businesses, um, in Redford, which is around here. I've worked with businesses in Birmingham. It's actually fairly accurate for me to say 10 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to uncheck. I also serve customers at my business address because that's not something I do unless they're friends or family. So I went ahead and added that. I'm going to click save and we'll see. So it now has my address set to serving customers within 10 miles of my address, and that's fine. Everything else on here is correct, so I'm just going to go ahead and say done editing. I'm going to click done editing. And now it didn't ask me to verify or anything, but my guess is that that's because I already have the instructions to verify by sending them some business documentation. So that's my next step. I'm replying with this message, and basically I looked through my documents and I thought the best document I had sort of to confirm my business as an actual business was a letter from the IRS, sort of confirming my business as an LLC, and it has my business named as an LLC on it. It confirms that it's an LLC. It has my employee ID number, which is like a social security number for businesses, and it has my address, the correct address on it. So I thought that would probably be the best one. I had a lot of documents that were like applications for registering to be an LLC and things like that, but I wasn't sure if those would work because those aren't confirming that I actually am an LLC. So I'm going to try sending this. We'll see if he asks me for something else, but hopefully this will be kind of official enough and I mainly wanted to make sure it had the address, had the business name, and I thought it didn't hurt that the IRS is a really official entity and is saying, hey, we've got your application and we say you are an LLC. So I'm going to send this off and we'll see what happens. Got a couple responses back and forth that have happened since I was last recording. So I sent the IRS letter off, and this is the response I got back. Please know that I've escalated the concern to our specialist team. And so I wrote back and just said, like, what does that mean? Is that simply the next step to get my listing enabled, or do you need more from me? And then he replied, it's the next step. So, um, so I was working with the initial help team. They got my IRS letter, and he said, okay, now I escalate this to a different team. You should hear from them within 24 to 48 hours. This was at 5:29 p.m. on the 25th, and I got this email yesterday, which was the 27th at 2:57. So it was a couple days actually. Um, Thank you for your patience. We have reinstated your business page. So apparently it's up. Um, and then they give me some instructions to sort of confirm that the updates are correct. And so I just immediately went to Google Maps and I searched Seth Kimball design and I searched in Ferndale because I changed the address to the proper address. So let's say Ferndale, Michigan. And sure enough, there it is. And it looks like the changes I made are right. So see, it's showing it now not as a location, but as a service area business, which is good because it's my home address and I don't want people showing up at my house. Just shows me as being in Ferndale, Michigan. So I'm up and ready to go. So my next step then is to just follow these instructions and log in and kind of make sure that this is all live and working. I went ahead and signed in with the account that I use to manage my Google My Business page or my Google local listing. And I'm going to just scroll down to my business here. The instruction said to log in and then click on this yellow bar that says review updates. And then I think the idea is just that I can go through and make sure all the updates are okay. Just click OK on that. And I'm going to just scroll down through this and make sure things look all right. So the only thing I think I'm going to edit here is the introduction. I think I'm going to add illustration in there because I'm really pushing more towards that. Um, I sort of am not branding myself as a web marketer, even though I do a lot of that. Um, yeah, let's leave it at that. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Done Editing. And I'm good to go. So that is uh, making edits, you know, going through the process of enabling a disabled page. I think it was fairly easy for me because I had a lot of documentation, that I was an LLC and at the specific address. I did have the issue of having to change my address to the official address of the LLC, which for me is no big deal. If you're dealing with black hat listings and stuff or gray hat or something, you could run into some issues with that. Um, but for me, that was no problem. You'll also remember that they asked for a photo of the business with a sign, but um, but that they also expected the official documentation. So that's another good option. For example, if you don't have a sign on your business, I've had people talk about having issues with that before, to try to get them to accept some kind of official documentation with your business and the actual address of the business and stuff like that. There is one more issue that I really need to deal with now because I had to change the address, and that is citations. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but I am just going to show you that if I go to Google and search my business name and phone number, this is the search that shows you citations for a business, is the exact business name in quotes and the exact phone number in quotes. Um, you're gonna it's all Royal Oak. It's so my own business comes up, but a lot of these Yellow Pages is Royal Oak, MapQuest is Royal Oak. Um, I've got a Facebook page. Yelp is in Royal Oak, and so I'm gonna have to deal with that. And so that's gonna be another video to talk about going through and finding those citations and how to sort of manage those um, in a time efficient and money efficient fashion. So that's going to be my next video on dealing with this whole issue, is when you make changes to your listing or to a client's listing, all of a sudden you have to remember that there are going to be citations across the web that are going to need to be changed, and how, I'll talk a little bit about managing that. So that's it for this video, but I'll do another one on dealing with the citations and how I'm going to be dealing with those going forward.